Hi guys, welcome to another one of my videos, and to those that are new to my channel, welcome also. Today I just want to showcase some of my Waffen SS which I've painted up for bolt action. These particular miniatures in front of us here are part of the first squad of the first platoon, which will be the Panzer Grenadiers, which was part of the 2nd SS Panzer Division, which was at the Battle of St. Lo, and also fought the US 2nd Armored Division throughout Operation Cobra. I painted these up to basically have the camo, which was typical of the Waffen SS. So they've got the P-dot uniform. Here we have on the left here, which is their transport. This is just the basic Hanamag, which I believe is the SD KFZ 251/1D. So it's just got the two machine guns on there. It's not really anything special, it's just a standard transport. Now as we get into the squad, we have at the front there, we have the probably butcher these ranks because they are in German. We have the guy there in the front with the rifle and pistol. He is the driver for the half track. He is the overshoots. He's meant to have a MP40, but I couldn't actually find an MP40 when I was making these ones, so I may have to try and scrounge around and make another driver. But then as we move on, we have the two squad leaders. We have the gentleman there with the binoculars. He is the Fuhrer, which is the senior squad leader, and he has the MP40, which we can just see. See if we can get close. He's just got it slung over his shoulder there. And then we have the assistant squad leader, which is the Unterscharführer, which he's armed with the carbine, which is the Karabiner 98K Mauser. And then behind them we have the two radio guys there, and they are both Oberschutz, and they both have the MP40 as their weapon. And then we have some more Schutz, which is basically a private, and they are armed with the machine gun, which I believe is the MG42, I think it is. So we have two of those. We have the loader plus the guy with the main machine gun. So we have two of those, two loaders, two machine guns. Then we come across here, we have the basic support element of the squad, which is the 4 riflemen, and they're also Schutz or privates, and they basically have the carbine or the Karabiner 98K Mauser, and they're basically just there to support the squad. And the main element of the squad is the actual machine gun. That's their main purpose for this squad. It's to lay down heavy fire, and the actual riflemen there are basically just there to protect the machine gunners from enemy fire or enemy trying to overrun the position. So as you can see, if we get a little bit closer, I've tried to make the P-dot a little bit more realistic. Unfortunately, it's turned out to be a little bit darker than I was hoping, but I guess that's probably more accurate. They wouldn't want a brighter P-dot because that'll just negate the purpose of having camo. But as you can see, there's some units here, or some men with different configurations to the uniform. You have some that have the full P-dot, and some just have the jacket, and some just have the pants. As you can see there, you got the two there with the jacket, and the pants are in the uniform grey, and you got the guy there with the uniform grey jacket, and then you got the P-dot trousers, and you got his offsider next to him, which has the full kit of P-dot. Now, I understand that there wasn't standard issue for helmet covers to have the P-dot, but I have read that a lot of the soldiers, when their uniforms become a bit torn and they got replacement uniforms, they tore up the old P-dot blouses and trousers and made helmet covers out of them. Now, I'm not sure if that's actually accurate, but I thought it sounded good, so I decided to paint up the helmet covers on some of these to give them more of that Waffen SS look. Okay guys, so what I'll do now, I'll showcase the half track and show an option that can be done for that half track. Because this is a Panzergrenadier unit, so therefore they're a bit like the US armored infantry, so therefore they're more mobile, so they're more often in the half track, following the tanks or the armored as they sort of went across the field towards the enemy front line, so they were very mobile. So I'll show you the options that I've come up with to represent that. So just bear with me, and I'll show you what I've done. Okay, here's the half track with the option of having the squad represented as being in the half track, so that they can actually follow the tanks as they go into battle. As this was a mobile infantry regiment, they would have been more often inside the half tracks following the tanks, and would have just jumped out when the tanks needed infantry support. I painted these up to represent the SS, so as you can see they've all got the P-dot camo pattern to sort of represent the squad, who also have the P-dot. So they're in there loose, they're not actually glued in there, so they can be removed. So we have there, you got the 6, so you have 5 infantrymen, and you got the 1 squad leader. So it's basically a 2-for-1 really, so each one of those represents 2 actual members of the physical squad when they're disembarked. Obviously you can't have 13 or 14 guys in there, so they wouldn't fit, but it's just there just as a bit of a proxy, just so that it looks like the squad's being transported. Now also, this particular squad can also be placed on tanks, so they can actually ride on also the tank. So if their transport gets destroyed and they need to move, they can become tank riders. A very dangerous way of moving across the battlefield, and it's very much exposed. But up next I'll show you the armour or the tank that I've painted, and I'll also show you what these look like once they're on there also as tank riders. Okay, here's my tank, which I painted up to be part of the 2nd SS Panzer Division. This one here is the 2nd tank of the platoon of the 1st company of heavy tanks, or medium tanks, sorry, I think it is. This particular tank is the Panzer 4, I believe. I can't think of the actual designation of what it is. I think it is a Panzer 4, but I can't think of the prefix for it. But so I painted this up basically just to represent the camo pattern of the 2nd SS Panzer Division. So this is the tank that I painted up. It's actually a Warlord miniature tank. All the miniatures I've shown you so far are from Warlord games for their bolt action range. So this one's been painted up to represent a tank from the 2nd SS Panzer Division. As you can see, the marking there, it shows you the division or marking, and then also the tank where it says their first company, first platoon, and basically first tank. Now it's not really a first tank because I think with the 2nd SS Panzer Division, I think 0 was the first tank. So it'd be 110 would be the commander's tank, and then 111, which is this one, is the 2nd tank of the platoon. So as I mentioned in the previous section of this video, that I'll show you the tank riders on how they look mounted on this tank. Obviously they're not going to be glued, so they will be loose, so they will take a bit of care to when using them to play with across the battlefield. So just bear with me and I'll show you how they look once mounted on the tank. Okay, so this shows you how the tank riders will look on the tabletop. This will only happen generally if their transport's been destroyed, also for a narrative campaign that I'll probably run. So if their transport's destroyed in one scenario, then their option would be to basically be tank riders. And as I said before, the tank riding practice was very dangerous. A lot of the soldiers were obviously very high up and exposed to enemy fire, and so yeah, it was a very risky practice. Obviously wasn't recommended, and I don't think it was really a very common practice. Unlike the Soviets, I think the Soviets were more inclined to ride on tanks, probably because of the greater distances they had to traverse from battle to battle. So, but around Normandy, I think with the hedgerows and the narrow streets and the towns they had to go through, this would have been just a great opportunity for the Allies to sort of just open fire on them and pick them off. So what wouldn't have been a very practical method of transport. So either they would have walked, or they would have probably hitched the ride in something else. But I just thought, just for a scenario, they could have been mounted on the tanks. I know that the US armoured doctrine was to actually have, I think it was the second row of tanks in a spearhead to have mounted infantry on them. But I think that was a peacetime doctrine. I don't think that actually was something that was actually implemented in the conflict, because it just, as I said, it would open them to be exposed to gunfire, and it wouldn't be very smart to be out like that exposed, that high up and that exposed. So that's my armour for my bolt action force. I do have a lot more armour to paint. I think I've got another 19 tanks to paint, and I've got a fair few squads to paint also to fill out the company. So I will slowly get through them, but as I do a lot of commission painting of Napoleonics, I don't really have time to paint my own miniatures. So I'm quite happy that I actually got this much painted. So So that's my German force that I've painted so far for bolt action. It's only a squad and a tank, so it's not really a lot, but it's enough to probably allow me to have a quick game if I need to. Well, having said that, you can't have a German tank without a US tank. So I've painted up my own Sherman. This one is the M4A1, I believe, which is the 75mm tank. This is a another one of those Warlord Games miniatures. This is the first tank I ever painted before I tackled the Panzer 5 or 4, sorry. So I'd never painted a US tank before. I've never actually put any storage on it. So this is my very first tank that I ever painted for the Americans. So we just go around and you got the backpacks on the side there. They're probably not a good position to have them. Then we have the back here, we have the like a container there, a box which probably has a lot of stolen stuff, as the Allies did. Yeah, probably got Lugers in there, probably German flags and other stuff. They're probably taken personal items. And then we have the water canteens. With the fact is that they probably would have drank a lot of water being out on their own, and fresh water probably would have been a thing to cherish, I'd say, with the amount of fighting and contaminated water. So yeah, so I stuck on those 3 containers there to represent they've got their own fresh water. And then we have the 2 jerry cans there and a bazooka. Now they generally didn't have a bazooka, obviously there'd be no need for a bazooka when you got the tank, but it was just on there. As I said previously, that a lot of the US infantry, as part of the doctrine, was to ride tanks into battle to support the tanks. So they could have just quickly grabbed that bazooka off the back and launched at any strong point that they needed to. So it's there for them, basically. And then we come around this side, we've got another 3 backpacks. Now there was 5 crew members, so that's why we've got 3 packs there. 3 on this side and 2 on the other side. And we have the name of the tank there, which is Billy the Bomb. And coming across, we have 2 German helmets, which is probably more loot that they've stuck on there, hoping to add a bit of fierceness, so that when the Germans see that, they know that these ones are a veteran tank, but they've obviously dealt with the Germans before, and that's just like a bit of a badge to show their veteran crew. So yeah, that's my completed painting of what I've painted so far for bolt action. I hope you guys enjoyed my ramble today on what I've painted for my own personal collection. And as always, I will post some pictures at the end of this so that you guys can have a bit of a closer look at the vehicles and also the miniatures. Okay guys, that's all I just wanted to showcase today. Thanks for stopping by, and as always, please comment, like and subscribe, and hit that bell for more videos. And until my next video, take care. Bye for now.